Welcome to the Internet Backpack, a place where we take a dive into history, horror, entertainment, and the betterment of ourselves. In today's episode, we are going to look at how America almost nuked itself. If not for pure luck, things would have been extremely disastrous and would have changed the course of history. Amidst the tensions of the Cold War, the Doomsday Program ensured that multiple B-52 bombers remained airborne across the Northern Hemisphere day and night, 365 days a year, each armed with 2 atomic bombs. On the fateful morning of January 24, 1961, one aircraft was on a routine mission when it suffered a severe technical malfunction and began to fall apart in the sky. The crew was ordered to bail out, leaving the plane to plummet towards a field near Goldsboro, North Carolina. One of the airmen on board was 27-year-old Adam Maddox, the youngest member of the crew, a rare African-American fighter pilot who was reassigned to the aircraft duty as Operation Chrome Dome gained momentum. In that surreal moment, it seemed that Maddox's assignment was going to be his death sentence. The aircraft was moving forward at nearly zero speed, but hadn't started falling yet. It was as if Maddox and the plane were suspended in midair, and he used that moment to jump away from the aircraft. When he pulled his parachute cord, it initially failed to deploy, but once he started falling, the air-filled canopy billowed above him. However, just as the B-52 exploded in midair, it collapsed Maddox's chute. Somehow, a stream of air slipped into the fluttering chute and it reinflated, allowing him to float back towards the surface. Maddox looked up to see the gently bobbing chute, but when he looked down, he saw he was heading straight for the burning wreckage of the B-52. Fortunately, a gust of wind or an updraft from the flames below pushed him southward, and he landed unharmed away from the main crash site. He hitchhiked to a nearby farmhouse and made his way back to the Air Force Base. When he arrived, still dressed in his tattered flight suit and clutching his bundled parachute, Maddox told the guards that he had just bailed from a crashing B-52. The guards, being guards in rural North Carolina in 1961, promptly arrested him for theft of military property, but upon realizing his story was true, they released him. 2 nuclear weapons, each 250 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb, were on the plane. For a few minutes, a bomb capable of altering the east coast of the U.S. descended towards the ground, its parachute getting caught in a tree in a field near Goldsboro. The other bomb, however, remained on the crashing plane until impact, when it was buried deep in the ground. It was a fortunate coincidence that it did not detonate on impact. During the recovery operation, it was found that only one switch prevented the first bomb from exploding, as 3 out of 4 switches had been activated during the plane's breakup. The second bomb, on the other hand, completely disintegrated upon impact, and its tail was found 20 feet below the ground, submerged in mud. The arm or safe switch was also found. Lieutenant Jack Revell, who was in charge of retrieving the 2 weapons, remembered the moment they discovered the switch, with a haunting quote. "I will never forget the moment my sergeant said, 'Lieutenant, we found the arm or safe switch,' and I responded, 'Great,' but he replied, 'Not great, it's on arm.'" Despite multiple safety mechanisms, both bombs were just one step away from detonation upon hitting the ground. The first bomb was secured and removed, but the second bomb could not be retrieved due to groundwater flooding. The core of the device was removed and the radioactive remnants were buried, with the land being purchased above it to prevent future excavation. The bomb remains there to this day. The incident was kept secret for many years, but investigative journalist Eric Schlosser recently uncovered the truth. One of the documents he obtained was a redacted copy of a paper by nuclear weapons safety expert Parker F. Jones, who analyzed the incident with a sarcastic tone. The paper was titled Goldsboro Revisited, or How I Learned to Mistrust the H-Bomb, a reference to the 1964 satirical film Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Jones' conclusion was unambiguous, despite the occasional dark humor in his analysis. He stated that, if a short circuit in the arm line occurred during mid-air breakup, which is a credible scenario, the Mark 39 Mod 2 bomb could have resulted in a nuclear explosion, which, as he understatedly noted, would have been bad news, to say the least. After the disaster, improvements were made to the B-52 design, including the removal of extra fuel tanks in the wings that had weakened the structure, and the reinforcement of other fatigued areas. Unfortunately, these changes were not sufficient to prevent 4 more crashes involving B-52s carrying nuclear weapons in the following decade. Like the Goldsboro incident, these near misses with nuclear catastrophes were kept secret from the public for many years. The residents of North Carolina were unaware of just how close they came to total destruction on that night in 1961, saved only by sheer luck and a simple, low-voltage switch. The outcome could have been catastrophic if not for good fortune. In moments when everything appears to be going wrong, a single action can alter the course of history. If the bombs had detonated, hundreds of thousands of innocent lives would have been lost. Fortunately, that did not occur. The notion that nuclear weapons are dangerous only when employed is a dangerous misconception. The mere existence of these weapons and their presence in our lives will result in more destruction than we can imagine. We hope you like this story and subscribe to our channel and give a thumbs up if you want to watch more videos just like this one.